Hello. So today I worked. I had two assignments today. I had a CPS assignment early this morning at 8:30 up in Louisville, and we met with the clients outside at their apartment complex. They had a little like park area. We all sat 6, 7, 8 feet apart and conducted the interviews and all of that. And I had to meet her two kids, this client's two kids. And, I feel sorry for kids because, needless to say, all of us showed up in masks and with gloves. And parents, explain to your little ones what's going on and that people will be wearing masks because we scared these kids. And they were old enough to know, they were like 7 or 8. And they're old enough to understand that something is happening and that people will be wearing masks. But if you don't say anything to children and they suddenly see that, it can be really scary. And there's no excuse for keeping your children in the dark on this. You don't have to go into graphic details on everything, but do your kids a favor, kind of give them a heads up as to explain what's going on, because these kids really had no clue. And from what I understand, they have TV, they have internet, but their parents are like trying to shelter them from the reality of the world out there. And then all of a sudden, something happened and CPS had to get involved, and we're showing up and scaring the daylights out of these kids because of our appearance. It really wasn't a major case, but it was just a follow through on something that had happened. But keeping children in the dark, you don't want to give them too much information, but give them enough to comprehend what is happening. They didn't even understand why they weren't going to school anymore. Just parents, you need to sit down and chat with your kids. And, depending on the age, you can give them more information. Those little ones, you can't overload them. They're not going to understand everything. But if you explain to them that some people might be sick and not know it, that's why they have to cover their faces. It would be better. I finally got the little girls to laugh with me because we all had different masks. So I asked them to vote who had the best mask, and I won. My mother's mask won. But and finally they kind of opened up. I stood far away and lowered my mask for a second so they could see my face, and then put the mask back up. And I asked the workers, keeping our distance, just quickly show our faces so that they know we're people. Because I'm sure we looked very strange with half our faces covered and with rubber gloves on. Anyway, and then I had a court hearing that we attempted to do, but because the logistics of it, it got postponed. And so that was my two assignments for the week. Ugh. I did try filing for unemployment again today because, they've changed it now that depending on what your phone number starts with, there's certain hours of the week you're supposed to try to apply. And my phone number starts with the number 2. So today between 1 and 5, I was to log in and apply for my unemployment benefits. I got as far as choosing a user ID and password, and then they ask you for some security questions, like if you ever lose your password, the questions that you would answer, right? So you could get your password again should you forget it, Fill the questionnaire out, and I go hit next, and it takes me to a page saying they can't process anything because they're basically overloaded. So then I wait a few minutes. I try it again. Because I did give a password and my user ID. I tried it again, and of course, it says there's no such password in the system. So obviously, it didn't take it. So then I go, okay, so let me set up a new password again. So I put up the password and my user ID. Do that, and then it says, oh, it's already been used in the system. So then I go back to try to retrieve the information, and it won't let me do it. So then I thought, okay, what if I forgot my password? So let me try going ahead and put the user ID and request for my password assistance. Wouldn't do it. I tried every freaking combination on my computer. Then I thought maybe it's a thing with Chrome. So I tried using Internet Explorer. No, same problem. I tried using it on my phone. Same kinds of issues. I spent hours and never got through. Then they did have a phone number. Should you be experiencing difficulties, call this number. I call the number, and I got a busy signal. I call the number over and over and over again and kept getting a busy signal. Finally got through to an automated system. It gives me the menus of what to choose from. I choose option 1, which was my option, and it gives me a busy signal. I try again, busy signal. Then I got through again. Tried my option, and then it just dropped me. It's like, so I got nothing done. I spent several hours doing it, and then of course then the window closed right at 5, and it was like too late. I even tried after 5, but it just did not happen. So obviously the whole governmental system is totally overwhelmed because even though they're trying to separate us out so they're not overloaded at once, apparently there's enough people with phone numbers that start with the 2 that I still managed to overload the system. So it was a day of absolute frustration. The most exciting part of my day, though, besides walking the dog God knows how many times, was I made mole for dinner. Yeah, well, I kind of cheated. I bought the boxed mole. It's already pre-prepared, but I made some mole enchiladas. That was good. And that's about it. Nothing else to report. Just struggling through all of this and trying to get the unemployment thing going, and it's just not successful. So it was a day rather frustrating, but at the same time, I understand why. I didn't try to watching as much news today because it's so overwhelming, but I did catch a little bit of snippets of what's happening on the federal level. Oh, we are an incompetent nation. Actually, no, the nation isn't incompetent. We're really led by incompetent people on the government side. You know, the medical doctors are great, but oh my God, the stupidity of it's just mind-boggling. Like they need to just listen to themselves. They need to listen back to their own press conferences. And, you know, they have no sense. Absolutely no sense because they make no sense. They can't. It's just pathetic. And we're supposed to, quote, be the best nation on the planet. My ass. Obviously, we don't know what the hell we're doing, and it's just. It would be comical if it weren't that the fact that, you know, over 10,000 people are dead. It just boggles the mind. And that people have drunken the Kool-Aid and still think that this president and his administration is doing a good job. Even when the president contradicts himself in the same speech or in the same press conference, I see comments that when it's pointed out that that's faux news. It isn't faux news. It's coming out of the president's own mouth. And the sad thing is that they don't even believe their own president. Or they still support him, but they don't believe. They choose to believe what they want to believe. So when even the president contradicts his own self, they can't accept the fact that he contradicted himself. So it's a weird reality out there, and it explains why cults exist and why, you know, all I can think is I'm old enough to remember the Guyana episode where all these people drank the Kool-Aid and committed suicide. Now some were forced to do it, obviously, at gunpoint, but still a lot of people willingly did that. It's like there's an absence of critical thinking in this country, which shows that our education system has failed in this country. When you've got it's just not a few outliers. There's so many people that don't know how to think for themselves or listen to contradicting statements from the same person and choose not to believe it. The cognitive dissonance is frightening, and that's what's killing people in this country. I'm very disappointed in our government. I'm very disappointed in our state-ish government because, you know, they set up the system for the unemployment. It took them a while to get it set up. They know they're going to get overloaded, but they're not prepared for it because obviously I tried all last week and I tried yesterday and I tried today and I still can't even get through the portal of the system. This is not new news. We've known about this virus. We've known how many people have been laid off. We know it's been several weeks now. And the incompetence, even at our state level, is mind-blowing. But, you know, we think of ourselves as a first world leading country. I lived in Mexico for a big chunk of my life. It's similar to what Mexico was like when I was growing up. At that point in time, it was very much a third world country. Yes, we have modern technology. Yes, we have, you know, better sanitation than when I grew up in. Because I grew up in a small rural town, and people did die of typhoid fever and, you know, stuff like that. But the corruption, the incompetence of government was something that was frequently experienced when I was growing up. And here I'm an adult in this country, the United States of America, experiencing some of the same crazy red tape or craziness that my mother experienced when she was young. When younger in Mexico, raising me and my brother. Anyway, rant over. Have a great day. Bye.